ready to start officially.
Okay, call to order DC 5 December 15th advisory council meeting. Is there any public comments out to be made? Public?
Let's see. Nope.
Hearing none, move to the next point. Approval of the minutes. Someone make a motion?
There's a correction that needs to be made to them.
Okay,
It states in the minutes that I didn't believe the seller is willing. That I never said that. What I said is we don't know that what the status of the seller is at all. It was neutral.
sure. Okay,
We didn't have confirmation that the seller is willing, and all subsequent work on it is moot unless we have a willing seller. I have no opinion about the seller. We have no information about the seller. So I didn't say the seller isn't willing.
okay.
I said we just didn't know.
I'll find the minutes right now. We need to make some modifications.
What page is that on, Anna?
Yeah, I'm
It's
I'm
on
looking for it
the,
now.
I guess, page 2 under work group leader report. And also, I don't think the bracket where it says name, isn't that supposed to be a person?
Yeah,
So wouldn't that, who's, someone's name goes there, right?
So who is the work leader
so the
of
group leader, Heath, you're the, I think it's Heath. Heath, you're the group leader? The work group leader?
What are we talking about? Where does the name supposed to go?
You're for the work group leader for the Econ land purchase, you're the chair of that, right?
I'm the co-chair.
You're the work group? Okay,
Luis
Okay.
and I are co-chair.
Okay,
okay.
So it's work group leaders, Heath Constantine and Luis. What is his last name?
Olgun,
Okay.
Ogwen.
I don't know how to spell his last name. I go and check it. Al-Gu-N.
And also, on that line where it says the $100 million budget, you need to state somewhere that there's a $100 million green place budget.
Okay, so far I just got the name changed.
there it goes.
Okay, Eugene is putting that in.
Okay, I got that.
And just above that, Gene, I didn't say that I didn't believe the seller is willing. We have unknown motives as far as the seller is concerned.
About a willing seller is necessary. Just add the word a.
Well, or fine, and then remove that I don't believe the seller is willing. I didn't say that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just remove that whole section, Eugene.
Whole sentence. Fact, I mean, all it says, Anna made a statement.
We'll
Anna,
just remove the whole section. It's okay.
I don't care how it's worded. It just, I want it clear that I didn't say the seller isn't willing. We didn't have enough information about the seller.
that's unknown at this point. So I'm not looking at the thing. I'm looking at my other computer. So it's,
Okay, Anna, since you're seeing you're there, I see that you're there in the minutes. Is that correct now, that section?
let's see.
Yeah, do you just want me to put it? I'll just put what,
You make the change you want, Anna.
okay.
This is He's unknown. Yeah, yeah, that's good, yeah.
Okay. Does everything else look good?
Yep.
All right. All right. You guys are ready to make a motion?
Okay. Okay, so want to make a motion, please?
I motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Second is out there. I'll make a second. I call it to, for a vote. I'm going to call the roll, Kelly. Or whoever has the roll.
I'm sorry, I'm taking minutes, so
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Eugene, you don't need to take roll. We
Okay, Anna,
just make a motion. So Heath made the motion, Eugene seconded, all in favor?
all in favor,
Aye.
please say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
nays?
Okay,
that's
unanimous.
Okay, unanimous. Do we have any agenda considerations to add? At the, hopefully everyone's taking a quick look at it. If not, then I'll move to item 7 now, reports from officers, discussion. Moving to A, discussion Orange County 2021 redistricting. Kelly,
I'm sorry. Yes. All right. Sorry, I was trying to do the minutes and I'm not accustomed to doing that. That's a hard job.
it's a very
So-
difficult job.
Yes. So let me, so here we are. So we're on the redistricting update. So Eugene, could you click the maps that are under consideration, please?
Okay, tell me if you can see it. As soon as it comes up. Which one you want me to click? 1 or 2?
Let's start with A1. So I'll tell you guys, so the redistricting, this is a process that occurs every 10 years. It's based off of the census data. And essentially what is supposed to occur is that we try to keep the borders as close. You try to keep the borders as close as to what they currently are. And with the reason being is that one, you've got district commissioners that reside within those. So if a commissioner were to be cut out of their district, they would have a certain amount of days where they could move back into it. And then secondly, is that you've got a lot of people that are, if you move the border too much, you've got people that are then represented by a district commissioner that they did not elect. So there's also some laws in terms of it being like contiguous borders or boundaries. I'm sorry, concerns about compactness or protection of communities of special interest. So with that being said, there's a legal threshold of a 10% deviation. So one of these maps has a lower deviation than the other. So if we look, so this is 13A. We went through, I think, 18 different maps as a committee. And we came down to that the public, the citizens, which we had quite a bit of citizen participation from every district, which was nice. They liked this 13A. Well, sorry, they liked the map 13A the best. Numbers 1 and number 2 are the maps that happened after the committee members made multiple amendments to committee proposal 13A. So this map 13A1 represents what the committee established altogether, which was map 13. And then it took amendments from Wes Hodge, which was Commissioner Bonilla's other appointee on the committee, and former Commissioner Homer Homrich, which he used to be the Commissioner of District 6. So they put their amendments together and they formed this map, and each district had its own challenges. So like if we look at district number 1 over here, they've got Horizons West, which is a growing area, as well as Winter Garden, which is a large area as well. And then you can see the little red dots, those are where the commissioners reside. So Commissioner Nicole Wilson, in several of the maps, was cut out of her district. So you can see where the original border was by the purple dashed line. So that was up here. So that's District 1. District 2, the representatives that were appointed by Christine Moore had the goal of making sure that a COE was all in District 2. And that was their only goal. They made it very upfront from the very beginning. They said, our only goal here is to get all of a COE in District 2, because it was split between District 1 and District 2. Then District 3 and District 6 have similar issues where they are basically, they're built out and they're kind of stuck, and it becomes very difficult to expand their boundary lines without either one, separating a community, like cutting a community in half, or 2, which we were reminded by council numerous times that race is something that's not to really be considered. Although for District 6, they had some relative concerns. For example, they've got the jail that's in District 6. And so when people are in jail, they are marked as people that reside within District 6 because they're in the jail. The problem is that one, they're not allowed to vote, and 2, once they're released, they may not live in District 6. They may be somewhere else. And so their voting numbers are lower than the other districts. And secondly, it is a majority African-American district. And so when you talk about being able to elect somebody who looks like you and who understands you and where you come from, they didn't want to dilute their minority vote. And so it becomes difficult to extend the boundary of District 6 without that in how their community defines dilution of that vote. So that was a hard thing to manage. Then we had District 3. District 3 is majority Hispanic, so very similar items of concern from the community. Although Hispanic is not a race, it's an ethnicity. So you could be white or black and be Hispanic. So they wanted to keep that composition. The public comments were very sensitive to that. And then we had District 4, who has had incredible growth because of the Lake Nona area, and also is almost majority Hispanic. And then we have District 5. And District 5 is representing about 2/3 of Orange County. It's very large. It's got the most amount of rural land. It has the marking of the urban service area as well as the rural service area. And so with District 5, in terms of like things that Wes Hodge and myself could recommend, because in the original map of Orange County, District 5 is under the population. So everybody was basically like, leave District 5 as is, it's fine. So it's very difficult to get a majority vote on anything pertaining to District 5 because there were other districts that had population booms like District 1 and District 4. And for you guys to know, if you don't know, the job of the district commissioners is to represent primarily those people that live within an unincorporated area. So if, for example, you live in Winter Park, generally speaking, the people are closest to those elected officials that are representing them. So although Commissioner Bonilla oversees Winter Park, they're generally closer to their most local elected official, which Winter Park has its own commission. So, and we've got numerous municipalities throughout Orange County. So this was one of the maps. You can see that with this map, the biggest difference is that, well, we can see it. If you can you scroll down, Eugene, to the next pages where we see some yellow highlights. So keep going. So here we go. And if you could center that over. So you can see what has happened in this district map. So they took what they referred to as a community as Alafaya, and they put, initially there was 27 people, and they consolidated everybody into District 4. So that was looked at as a positive whenever you consolidate. And then you had Belle Isle. Again, they consolidated. There was just 3 people, so they consolidated there. Bithlow, Christmas, you know, all of those areas stayed the same in District 5. In Lockhart, there was District 5 had 0 people that resided there. So they just tightened up the map because it was like a ragged edge where nobody lived, but it was still reflectant of being in District 5. So you see there's consolidation there. Ocoee ended up being all in one district, which is what District 2 representatives wanted. And then of course, Orlando, it was spread out throughout all of the districts, which it always is, but you do see that there's some differentiation, like District 1 now has much less of Orlando than it did before. It used to have 10,000, now it's got 1,000. So District 5 is about the same in terms of Orlando. South Chase and Taft, those South Chase stayed in District 4. Taft was moved, which was a big point of discrepancy for District 4. They weren't quite happy with that, but so it was moved to District 3. And then Winter Park, there was a portion of it that was resided within District 2. So we moved those 500 people fully into District 5. So now all of Winter Park is in District 5. And those were the primary changes. So they were minimal on this map. And so there's that one. And then if we look at the other map.
Second.
So this was the other map. So this map is a combination of my motions for amendment and Jimmy Afuance, he was a appointed member by District 4, Maribel Cordero. And this one, you will see it has a lower maximum deviation of 1.6, but if you look up at the top, so you can see that so District 1, because of the growth, we had the position that it's better to have District 1 at a negative than at a positive, because there are things that are on the books that are, probably boost that number more than we even know. District 2 is at 0.15. District 3, although they weren't quite happy with it, they're still at a negative number, but it's difficult to manage. District 3, District 4 had a negative, which was good in terms of the growth that's going on in District 4. District 5 was the one that was most over with this map, but still is in relative proximity. It's not a statistically significant difference there. And then District 6 for the first time is positive without consideration of the jail population, which was a good thing. And then for the most part, we left the compactness in terms of ethnicity identification alone in this map. So you can see how some of the borders changed here. With this map, one of the things that we did is that we moved a portion of Avalon into District 5. So that is something that is new. So I believe that now Commissioner Bonilla has about 10,000 people from Avalon that is in her district. And then we tightened up the border a little bit right there on Dean Road. And we cut that back a little bit. I don't know, Commissioner,
Yeah,
when
They
you,
so it looks like they took Blanchard Park out of my district. That's where that second bump is.
where on the
Mhm.
western boundary,
The new bump there by Rouse and Dean.
Right here?
Yeah. That's Blanchard Park there.
Let me zoom into it. Sorry about all the movement.
Yeah, you really can't see.
you can't zone it, you
like,
can't zoom in.
details. Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is 50. So they moved it up to. What is that road?
Yeah, so it looks like they took
That's
Blanchard Park out and put it into District 4.
right on the border. Hang on, I'm
Which
sorry.
I would not be happy about losing a park.
Well, there's the Econ right there. Yeah, well, it depends on where that line lays, on the north or the south side.
Wait, where,
That's the Econ right there. The black line is the Econ. So going from Dean, can you see my arrow?
The little econ.
Little Econ, I'm sorry. So that right there is Dean Road. So Blanchard Park is the division. So it does go into 4. That was strategic.
yeah, it was like, hey, we want another park. Let's take it from 5.
All right, well, this went down a notch, in my opinion.
Can I ask a question? Was there a statistic that was analyzed about what percent of the people in each county district are actually already within a municipality?
you know,
Was that
Gordon, we asked for that information over and over and over again, like every committee member, even to the last meeting, I said, can we get a proportionate share of how many people are in a municipality for each district? So that we know, like, you know, if District 4, for example, has half of the people within a municipality, then it makes a difference how many people would be there. The county said that they didn't have, the staff said that they didn't have access to that information, and that if we wanted that information, we would need to go through and, you know, tally all of that ourselves. And so
That's hard to believe, Kelly, that they don't have a GIS layer they know exactly where those boundaries are, because that
they know where the boundaries were. They didn't have the population
the
numbers.
population is the difficult part,
Well,
not the
that's
boundaries.
in the census. But that information should be in the census.
well, that or a phone call to each city and ask them what the population is. I don't know.
Well,
I agree. That confuses me too, Eugene.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and the other thing is, I believe that for the smallest units that we're contemplating moving around are precincts. Am
yeah,
I correct about that?
Yeah, you have to, the software only enables you to move a precinct.
A precinct, that's the smallest unit. And so the population of the precincts is very well known. And
Yeah.
the,
And we could see that, yes, you can see all of the population within the vote. They call it a voter cell in the software. So you can see all of that information, but when you're building the map, and if you're not a GIS person, you're building it from scratch where it doesn't have any type of overlay to show you where the municipalities are, so that you can see what cells you're taking from what. And it was something that the committee members, we complained about over and over and over again.
yeah, the mapping, there was no way to turn a layer on to show you where at least give you the boundaries of the cities. It wasn't, you had to keep, when I did it, I had 4 or 5 monitors on at the same time, looking at different versions of the data, because there was no easy way to turn the layers on properly.
there was no layer. There was no ability to have a layer. So, and they just kept saying that that's a limitation of the software. And so we asked staff, we understand if there's a limitation to the software, but then is there a way for staff to create a map that would show the boundaries of the municipalities so that then we could use that as like a foundation map that we could work with? And staff said that it was not their job to make the map. That's what we were supposed to do. So
That's bullshit.
but you know what, it would be great if, when this comes to the BCC, because that's going to be it was my comment at almost all of the meetings, and it's going to be my public comment as well, that we still don't know, and we still need to know how many people within each district are residing within a municipality. What's the population of the municipality? Does District 1, for example, have 100,000 people living in a municipality? Because then that district should look different. Does District 5 have, only 25,000 people? We don't know. So it was.
Basically, District 5 has Wetland and Winter Park, and so you're talking about 45,000 people right there, I think.
Yeah. If you scroll down, Eugene, can you look at the yellow highlight sections so we can see the majority differences here? So this was the difference that this map took is in District 4 and 5. It split the Alafaya community, which is actually not even a community. It's very large. It includes the Avalon, Waterford Lake. So it's very broad and long. So there's about 11,000 people that moved into District 5 out of the Avalon. Fairview Shores was another thing that changed, where it moved about 3,500 people. Sorry, it was 6,000 to 4,000. Yeah, so District 2 took the majority of Fairview Shores. And then scroll down, Lockhart, that was just a cleanup. Ocoee, we left Ocoee alone, so that was just a cleanup there. Orlando here is mostly, it didn't deviate all that much. So with District 5, it's a different, we gained 600 people there about. Pine Hills was a community that we heard from over and over and over again that they wanted to be left. There's a lot of socioeconomic challenges in Pine Hills. They felt as though they had better opportunity with their community, having 26,000 people in District 2 and 40,000 in District 6, that it would give them better representation to some of the special needs that community has, to have 2 district commissioners as opposed to 1. So we honored the public there. South Chase, that's really just, it's not a change. It's just a ragged road there that I think the BCC will probably vote to clean up. Union Park was split between 4 and 5. In Union Park, we had some residents that they wanted both of the schools to be within the same district because they had some school board problems with the splitting of, I think, their high school and their middle school.
But that's the school board district. That's not the commission district.
No, it was pertaining to the people's complaints in terms of working with their district commissioner for issues that are at the school. So like with crime or, so it was working with one commissioner as opposed to working between 2 commissioners is that's what they said anyways. So, and then the Winter Park, we put all of Winter Park into District 5 instead of, except for 21, and that'll probably be, Emily, something that you want to consolidate is move those 21 in. When I tried to grab all of Winter Park, I couldn't grab the voter cell with the software to pull it in to clean it up. So anyway, those were the motions that I could get passed, was the Winter Park and the Avalon and leaving your downtown alone because District 6 wanted to take up to Magnolia.
Kelly, did you say Fairview Shores got moved out of District 5?
Fairview Shores, this is now in between District 2 and District 5. Are you in Fairview Shores, Heath?
I think so.
Can we go up and look up the map?
I'm trying to confirm it. It doesn't say at the property appraiser's website, but I thought I was in Fairview Shores.
Where's Fairview? I'm not sure where it is.
It's
It's all
Lake
the way-
Fairview and Lake Killarney.
Oh, so it's over here in this area.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me look.
You don't have to waste time checking for me, but I'm gonna look at this later. I'm gonna be pissed if I'm out of District 5.
Well, it don't, so here's the whole perspective of the committee at the end of the day is everybody tried to take public comments. And
Oh, it's not your fault.
no, but the whole thing is that these, the boundaries here are, I mean, just like if we just decided to give the commissioners 2 maps and say, here's 2 maps that are relatively, they all function from this map 13A, which had support from most people. So, but we looked at it as though the BCC is going to whittle away at these edges and take back or add to or do whatever. So, Emily, maybe Fairviews is one of the ones you want to take back in. I don't know.
Up there, right?
Yeah, but I'm more to your right
Oh,
by
this
1792.
is 1792. No,
Okay.
there's I-4. So it's over here.
You see where that lake is inside that black line?
This one here?
Yeah, inside of that black line in that circle.
It's
is
Lake
where I'm-
Killarney.
That's Lawrence.
That's Lake Killarney.
Yeah, that's where I
Wait.
live. I'm on the other side. I'm inside the black line.
Okay.
There.
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 Oh, you're in district, that will be a different district then. Yeah, I think
That
so.
doesn't make any sense how they just took that little section out.
It's
Yeah,
way-
it actually looks like gerrymandering right there. So you might want to use the road as the border.
I would use I-4 minimally as a border myself.
Yeah, because this looks like a little bit of gerrymandering. So just,
Yeah, it looks totally gerrymandered.
yep. So
We got some people on my street that don't like Emily, so they probably helped with that.
that should just be, I think that.
And they work in the building industry. Go figure.
Go figure.
Huh. Well, yeah, well, it was, the woman that ran against Emily had a big sign right where my thing is, and that had the ex-president right beside it too. I put a picture up on my,
Angela Vaya, she's running for Winter Park right now.
yeah, I keep getting her email because I signed up for her, get her data.
Mm.
I'm one of those Winter Park residents who is actually in unincorporated
We
Orange
both are,
County.
Anna.
So my address is Winter Park, but I'm not city of Winter Park. So I don't have a dog in that fight, but I hope she loses.
Yeah, I
All
hope so.
right, no talking about the elections and stuff. No.
Okay, well, next subject.
So anyway, so these are the maps, and again, there are, I think everybody left Monday night not happy, really. So
No
because,
kidding.
yeah, process, everybody was collegial, but everybody had goals, right? So it was give and take, and, so those are the 2 maps, and they're going to be looking for public feedback. So, and it's important for me to say that, Thursday night, we were actually supposed to have another tentative meeting where the public could have viewed these maps and then come and given feedback to the committee prior to going to the BCC. But that was not the option that the co-chairs elected to take. So when this goes to the BCC, these 2 maps have no public feedback incorporated into them.
I definitely like, I think number 1, because I just don't like the way they took out like chunks, like especially Blanchard Park.
Mhm.
It seems like a really messy map too.
Yeah, it just needs to be cleaned up, and both of them have areas that really need to be cleaned up. And but it was like 11:30 at night and we were at our deadline. And so they just said the BCC would kind of chip in,
They'll take care of it.
yeah, chip away at those boundaries. You can watch the tape. There are committee members that are worried that some of them look like they were gerrymandered. But it's very difficult
I'm
to,
surprised Jimmy didn't make some comments about that.
I think some of his amendments caused it.
yeah. some of
Well,
us-
he was kind of weird about that because he argued that he didn't see a problem about, he didn't want to use roads as a, but from what I know about what the Supreme Court's ruled on, the Supreme Court's been pretty adamant that roads are a divider. I mean, they can be used as just like a lake or something like that. It's a permanent structure. So
Yeah,
I don't understand, like State Road 50 by Winter Garden, cutting out all that south there. That was weird, not using 50. It's kind of carved out a big chunk there.
Well, that was due to started off with gerrymandering in 2010.
Oh, yeah.
But the bump on the west side was done in 2010, and then the new bump on the east side, that was currently with this map to take out Blanchard Park and put it into District 4, which also that includes Union Park, I believe, some of Union Park there. So that's, they probably use some justification,
But that, I mean,
Union Park together.
District 4 is growing pretty rapidly. So, and
Yeah, so if that's the case, then how about take all of Union Park and just put in District 5, and then I don't lose my park.
yeah, I mean,
that was the other, if you, for Union Park, so it's either, essentially it comes down to the map of either you split Union Park or you split the Avalon to make your numbers work. So you can do either one. So both of one map presents you with Union Park, and then the other map presents you with Avalon. So you can look at either of those and see which one you want.
Yeah. Okay, next on the agenda, unless anyone has any questions for Kelly.
Good job, Kelly.
thank you,
Yeah,
Kelly,
good
for doing that.
Guys, thank you guys.
We'll buy you a drink when we see you.
Absolutely.
Yay. Well, go to the public meeting, and like I said, it was a friendly process in terms of taking all the public comments into consideration. So go and just,
Is there an announcement of when that's coming to the board?
the deadline, the Orange County has to have this submitted to the state by the end of March. So it should be coming up and after the holidays.
Okay. Okay, let's move to B now. Is that all the questions, Kelly? And okay, let's move to B, the Econ Working Group. A quick update. I learned from the commissioner that Sustaina is going to have a community meeting, is scheduled for February the 1st. I don't know where it's going to be. Commissioner, do you have any information about that?
Yeah, I don't know where it's gonna be yet.
Okay, that's when the people need to come out and have a talk with them about how they feel about it. So hopefully, we'll hear from a lot of the residents at that time.
Hold on, so do we have a plan submitted? Like have they submitted something?
Sestany is misspelled, by the way. It's,
Oh, no, that's the new spelling. They changed the spelling so people wouldn't recognize it.
oh, that is just pathetic. Seriously?
Yeah, they changed it from a Y to a double E.
Unbelievable.
So that when it popped up in like the records and everything, people wouldn't recognize it as the same.
Well,
develop-
what exactly is going to be covered at a public meeting? You mean the portion that is already owned by the developer? What it is they are going to do with it? Is that what's going to be covered?
I guess that's what we're gonna find out in the community meeting, because I don't know if they're gonna give us any information prior to that. So we need to get a couple hundred people out there and have a talk with them to show that. that
Do
we
they
are,
have, do they have anything submitted to staff yet, where staff reviewed some type of a plan? I mean, do we know how many?
They said that they finally have a application that is ready to move forward. is What they told me, because the thing is that staff kept trying to force me to have a community meeting before they were ready to move forward, and I kept saying no.
Mhm.
That, come to me when they're ready to move forward. And so now they're saying that they're ready. They have an application ready.
Gordon, do you know how to use Fast Track to pull that application?
I don't think it's there because it's a comp plan amendment, which is something I've talked to staff about. They don't have the documents online for stuff that's comp plan amendments. They only have stuff online that's for like rezoning.
do you know if it's hit the development review committee yet? Down in staff?
If it did, it
Um,
would be in Fast Track.
yes, let me see, because there is a web page for comp plan amendments and sometimes they put the documents there. Let me see if it's there.
Because, I mean, sometimes they sneak it through the development review and the other staff review committee, which really, it's hard for the public to even to attend because they don't really announce when and where. And that's when all the sausage making happens. So we tend to we only learn about it later, but I
So what is their comp plan amendment, Emily? Because they have the Lake Pickett text amendment already to the comp plan.
So they are only located within the Lake Pickett study area. They don't have the future land use designation or the rezoning or the zoning. So,
the first thing they got to
so
do.
whenever staff says they're already entitled to this, that's not true. They're only located within the Lake Pickett area, but they don't have, and they're not entitled to any densities.
Mhm.
Right now, it's rural on the future land use, isn't it?
Yes, so they're still rural. They're still ag zoning.
It's A1, wherever it is, still agricultural, future land use.
Yeah,
they-
unfortunately, I am not seeing any of their applications or documents on the website.
So maybe what we need to do is make an inquiry, one of us, and have a talk and try to figure out what's going on. It's important that the citizens start getting involved at this point with this, if they want to have influence. So that's the announcement. Of course, I missed.
Parcel number in the chat. Is that the parcel number?
There's multiple parcel numbers.
That I know, and all of them are saved in our drive under value of land. There's an image for each one of them.
We don't know what exactly they're going to present, because when you look at that one picture, it's the entire Ribo Ranch, but then the actual property owned by Dallas Corporation is 671 acres of it.
That's the 018 that I just put there. That's the
Yeah,
one
but
owned by them.
Yeah, we don't know. It's a total, so we're
I
gonna.
mean, would they do a plan for property they don't own?
Yeah,
Because they're under contract. So what the developers do is they don't purchase a property in advance of trying to get a comp plan change. They go under contract with the landowner. And then if they get approved for the comp plan amendment, then they purchase the property. If they don't get approved, then they don't purchase the property.
and
Okay, so right now, it might be that again, back to the willing seller issue. Right now, it's possible that the seller already has a contract with them, then you're saying, right?
Yes. And then, so
Okay.
the way this one has several different parcels. Some of the parcels are already purchased by the developer and some are not.
Yeah,
So
the
it's a-
018 is already owned by the Dallas developer.
yeah.
The ones that I thought we were focusing on our other ones, but that's where it's like, whatever their meeting is, are they just talking about the one they already own?
No, I believe they're gonna be talking about all of it and what their plans are. Yeah, because they're basically planning, if they have it under contract, so they're planning to purchase it if they get their comp plan amendment approved.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna, if I was them, I would pitch the whole plan. I wouldn't just pitch a little piece of it, because that's what they're planning. I mean, that's. But it's all based on the permit. But don't let that scare you, because down in Isle Pines, the developer had bought the property. And the community raised such a ruckus that they finally sold to the county. So just because they own the land doesn't mean anything. It depends on the pushback they're getting from the community and how much it's going to cost them to get it developed. So they know how to do math. So money is number one to them, and they figure out real fast which way they want to go.
Okay,
There's-
so that's the update on Sustany.
Okay,
There's a community meeting for.
and the next A, which I
I
messed
don't
up.
know the location yet.
Okay, so moving to the second A, which I should be B. I don't want to touch it because I'm afraid what would happen. We did have a meeting with Beth Jackson, and we made it known to her about what we are interested in. And she said she is starting the process for Green Place. I plan to call her this week and have a talk with her and see where she's at, just to kind of give her a little push. So I don't have any updates on that besides what we had met with the committee last month. Heath, do you have any updates?
No, we're still working on that letter. I guess we're editing it. So that's the update. I got more time available the next 2 weeks than I did before, so I can refocus on it to see where it's at, and hopefully we can get that mailed out. Do we still want to mail that letter out?
I think let's talk. I need to talk to Beth and find out where she's at, because it's almost where we are probably in a wait mode, and we want to just keep pressure on her, and definitely be aware of what's going on with Sustaina, how you saw it, Sustainia. I think that's going to be our group's effort for the next 2 months, is monitoring EPD's progress, and then also monitoring and making sure we get community output to these meetings that they're going to have at Sustainia.
Okay.
Okay, so.
What is it that Beth can even do?
Oh,
I mean,
she-
because we have to put the application together, and you
No,
can't
no, she does
start
that.
without,
No, she does that. No, Anna, she does that. She's in Green Place. She has to, from the county, she'll put together the study, the information that's on that. That's part of her job. I mean, Emily, you can correct me on that, but that's APD's job, that if there's a piece of land to be considered, they go through they gotta look at it. They do analysis. They contact real estate contacts the owner, see if they're interested. If they're interested, then more stuff happens, but am I close to that, Emily?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact order of all the steps, but it sounds about right.
I guess I just thought that the onus was on us to partially prepare the application for Beth.
I'll talk to her and ask her if she needs our help. If I know Beth, and she'll probably say no, but that
Yeah,
doesn't.
I
Go-
agree with you, Eugene. But I also think at this point, we may be best letting Beth send the letter and contact the owners.
I agree with
That may
that.
be the best course at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that, Gordon, because I think it's just like when Emily got the contact about that property on the Econ by Lake Pickett that was just bought by the county. That was a similar thing. I mean, there's a willing seller, but Beth made the motion to go through the rigmarole of getting that approved and everything. Same thing with the other property. So with all the properties I've been involved with, that's the process. The main thing as citizens, we want to just be nice, but kind of a little bit, we just want her to know that we know what's going on. But we don't want to pressure her too much because she gets pretty stressed out if people start laying into her too heavy. And I understand that. So I think right now we monitoring her, what's going on, and then definitely monitoring and also being part of this community meeting coming up in February. We got to find out more, and that's probably what we need to talk about in January, is what's going on with that Stania.
It's Sustany. It's still pronounced the same as before. But I did want to say that Karen's back, so we can add her to the roll call.
Okay. Karen, okay, hi. Okay, are we
Hi, Karen.
are we done with B? Anyone?
Yeah, so we have, yeah, and I have, oh, Austin is also on the phone with me here. He's been listening in. So we can add him to the roll call as well.
Okay. So,
Austin, you're still on the phone there with me, right?
Yeah, I'm here, Commissioner.
Can you all hear him?
yes. Everyone else?
Yeah, they can hear you, Austin.
Okay,
Yeah, ready for my update?
okay,
Yeah, you're next.
okay, so I'm gonna,
Cool.
UCF Corridor Austin, you wanna give us a rundown on what's going on?
Yeah, for sure. So, last month when we met as a group in our breakout session, we all agreed that what made the most amount of sense for our project was to fold it into the ongoing Vision 2050 work. And so what we're going to do is when we get an initial draft, we're going to sort of take stock of what that area looks like and then try to influence that project to provide some mixed use housing and retail in that area. So to that end, I guess a couple of questions. One, I should add too, we provided an update to Eric Rush at the county, the planning division, to let him know, give him a heads up so they were ready for this when it came out. Two things. One, I had heard, I was at a recent planners social, and I thought I had heard, I don't want to put him in a weird spot because I might have been wrong, but I thought I had heard he might be leaving county and going somewhere else. And if that's true, we might want to find a different contact in the planning division to make sure that we have a contact in the planning division that's familiar with what we're planning to do here. And then the second point was, I still haven't heard an update on when Vision 2050 is supposed to be published. The last I had heard was January, but if that's changed, then we'll just need to make sure that we stay on top of it.
Okay, I got,
Okay, yeah, so as far as I know, it's still January. I haven't heard yet if they're pushing that back, if they're running behind on it. But Eric is leaving the county.
Oh, no.
I know, like I was almost in tears and tried to beg him to stay, but he's leaving. Good news though, is that he is a resident of District 5, so I did recruit him to join our D5 NAC.
Oh, awesome. He's gonna join this work group.
Yeah, so it'll definitely be really valuable because he has all the insight and experience from the county in planning. I don't know, huh?
Where's he going?
I forgot the name of the company. He said it's a private company. He says they don't do much business with the county, like projects or something. So all I remember him saying, I don't remember the name of it, but they're based in Raleigh, but they have an office here in, I think, Long.
Good for him. Tell him we said congratulations.
Yeah, okay, well.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so I don't know who's replacing him yet, but I am looking for our February meeting to have Alberto come and present to us about what Vision 2050 is in regards to District 5.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Great
timing then.
idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great.
okay, so, all right,
So
so,
that, anything else? Any questions for Austin?
Okay. If not, I've got to run. I want to provide an update. But sounds like there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Okay.
right.
So just, Austin, and January we had an in-person meeting, but in February, we're gonna go, sorry, January, we have virtual meeting, but in February, we'll start in person.
Hey,
Oh,
Austin,
awesome. Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
hey, Austin, before you hang up,
Yeah.
These meetings will be in person?
hey, Austin, I'm gonna call you about the Fashion Square stuff. Do you know anything about what's going on?
Yeah, we should talk, Eugene. We put out a Yimby press release on it. Yeah, we should talk.
Okay, okay, I'll call you. When's a good time to call you in the next few days? Like, at night?
Yeah, before Monday. Weekends are normally good. I mean, anytime of the weekend or during the day is normally all right.
Okay, I'll call you in the weekend time. Okay, all right, thank you.
Cool.
All
All right, thanks,
Bye.
Austin.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays to you too.
Okay,
Bye.
let's move to the new business. As you can see, D5 would be meeting in person. Anna, do you have? Are you comfortable?
Yes, well, let me talk a little bit about that. So January, we're gonna have, I have some, hold on, let me go to my notes too, because I put down some ideas of locations. Okay, so January, we're gonna still be in virtual. And then after in February, so we're gonna try to have our meetings in different areas of the district so that we could get more engagement from the public. So February will start in the community centered East Orange Park, which is in Christmas. March will be in Bithlo Community Center in Bithlo. April I'm gonna try to get Florida Technical College, which is near UCF. And then in May, it's going to be Union Park Neighborhood Center for Families, which is in Union Park. June will be Goldenrod Recreation Center, which is North Goldenrod. In July, I'm looking at the Windsor Park Library. In August, looking at the Maitland Library. In September, looking at College Park Library. It's the Fairview Shores Library, I believe, over there. And then October, looking at downtown Orange County Library. And then in November and December, I'm looking to go virtual again, which I think will be easier for everyone since it's like around the holidays. So that's some ideas for the locations in next year for our monthly meetings.
Okay.
And I will try, I'm thinking of seeing if I can possibly try to at least stream it like on Facebook Live or something like that. For anyone in the public who can't make it to still be able to see it. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do like a dual virtual thing because it's just, I'm trying to figure out the technology and I'm not sure if we're gonna have the ability to do that.
Okay. All right, so with that, let's move to the next one. We've already talked about the redistrict and anything else, Kelly, to add to this on number 2 of the new business?
No, that was actually, it should have been up in the other portion. So I have said all of that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so moving down to 3.
Sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right, sorry, I lost connection. My internet is pretty long. Did I get in what I was trying to say?
No, you
Or-
broke up.
We heard about the community meetings in the different locations.
Yeah, we heard all that about all the
Okay,
way through next year. So that.
And then you said you're gonna go back to Christmas meetings virtual or something in like November, December.
Yeah,
I think that was the last thing and then you dropped off.
yeah. The last thing I heard, and I think everyone else, was that we go virtual in November and December of next year. We heard everything else prior to
She's
that.
gone.
Emily?
She's gone, Eugene. There she is. She just came back.
Oh. I think we she needs better internet out there. Uh-oh. Are you there, Emily? Oh, boy. We might have just lost Emily.
Well, she'll come back, but can
Yeah,
we?
let's move on to, let's move to 3 now, discussion let's see.
Eugene, I just wanted to say that there's an opportunity for the group. There's a hyperlink there in number 2 underneath A. It's an opportunity to take an Orange County survey to express your opinions and trade-offs for the Vision 2050. So it's the last survey that they're using. And it's basically like, I would trade, I would trade a wetland for a parking lot. It's like, it's presenting trade-offs and not like that extreme, but so if people would like to take it, there's a link there to complete the survey.
Okay,
Thanks.
all right, so. All right, so this is a discussion about forming new areas of study. The Vision 20 probably will be, I would suggest, and maybe we keep that within the UCF corridor as like a subcommittee to that committee. Any thinking on that?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, this is my thought on that. The 2050 committee staff is already considering the grow and the sustainate as future build out areas. So I think that those areas also need to be brought up, and especially if we're going to be proposing additional density in the UCF corridor, which I think is the right idea, then that needs to be balanced with shifting the density away from the grow and sustainate towards UCF on the other side of the Econ. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
So I don't think that we should leave those out of the discussion. I think that the discussion should revolve around shifting the density from east of the Econ back to the west of the Econ where it belongs.
So should we,
That'd be great.
And that all of this discussion about increasing the density around UCF west of the Econ should fit into that concept.
okay, so this is, so it should stay within the UCF corridor because it is, we see the Vision 2050 densifying around UCF proper west of the Econ. We don't want it east of.
That's correct. But and we mentioned this with Beth during the call that that the density that would be lost to development east of the Econ could be and should be replaced west of the Econ in the vicinity of UCF, where it's more useful to housing the students, and it also will benefit from the existing infrastructure that's already in place.
Yeah, you talked about density credits, and when we were talking to Beth.
Density credits is one way to achieve that, yes.
But you talked at some length during that meeting with Beth about the density credits, so she's aware.
Yeah,
of it.
we did touch on that. It wasn't a very in-depth conversation, but we did talk about it.
So yeah, so we need to make sure that we're involved from the UCF point of view and making that point very strong that the density credits should be going to Alafaya University corridor, not way out yonder. So, yeah. So that's definitely then going to probably be part of the UCF corridor work group. The second thing about that we might consider an area to study, because the Econ we're kind of like we're going to be having spurts of energy based on what's going on with the BEF, EPD, and also sustain.
Sustiny, it's the same. It's just not a Y, it's two E's, Sustiny.
Such an asinine spelling.
I know.
English is not my language. So one of the things that's coming up, and it actually was on the BCC yesterday, was updating the wetland ordinances. So we might want to create a working group to study that and make comments to it and try to track what's going on with the updating of the ordinances. So I don't know, we might want to just put a feel out of what they call it, one of those surveys, and see if people would like to join that. I don't know, any discussion on that about the wetland ordinance?
Eugene, I attended one of the meetings, so it wasn't this past one, it was the one before that looked at the ordinance. And it seems as though the biggest issue there is that there's a loophole in it that was most concerning, that allowed for, is this the fertilizer one?
Mm-mm. No, this is the
Oh,
wet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I was on the fertilizer ordinance. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. What is the wetland ordinance updates? What are those?
Emily, can you give a short brief on that?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of discussion on the board about the wetland impacts, the process, and how sometimes decisions are made before the board or without the board on some impacts. So the wetland ordinance is going to look again at amending it on how the wetlands are classified, because right now, the way they're classified, there's some issues. And then look at what the board wants to do about how things are impacted and mitigation. And I've also brought up too that while we're looking at this, that we should also look at our public works with the stormwater drainage, because the water from the properties drain into the stormwater systems, which then drains into the wetlands. So I told him that we should be looking at those ordinances and codes as well, and looking at this holistically and amending them all at the same time. And I also mentioned in a meeting with them, a briefing, not during the BCC, but that we should also look at Vision 2050. And is this also going to be implemented in that? And they said that's a good idea. So they did bring that up during the BCC meeting, that that's something that they're going to look into as well. So it's trying to make sure that we find good processes, ordinances, codes that protect our wetlands and preserve them, because I mean, a lot of wetlands have been destroyed.
One thing, Emily, I didn't know where to insert this, but just so you know, since you're at the meetings, one thing that would be a simple requirement to include in the code is to make sure that commercial landscapers bag and remove their waste and don't blow it into the street and the storm drains. That has a huge impact on water quality.
Well, you know,
So, but right now, as far as I know, there's no existing ordinance that requires commercial landscapers to bag their refuse.
That's a good point and good idea, because I know when we were talking about the fertilizer ordinance, that was something that came up. You know, people blowing their the clippings like into the street and stuff.
the storm drains.
Yeah, and then it goes into the drains. Yeah.
Another
It's a
point,
little more difficult to require private homeowners. I think that would that would be an especially challenging ordinance. But you could require, it's just simpler to require commercial, and a lot of people, commercial would be anyone besides a homeowner doing, that's my definition anyway. A non-homeowner who does the landscape is my definition of commercial. So if you hire someone to do your yard, then as a licensed landscaper, you're required to bag your stuff. If you do your own yard, that might be a little more difficult to write code for. But
It's harder to get the education out there to them.
yeah, I mean, the commercial ones we can regulate, the private citizens, that's an ongoing issue.
Yeah.
Another point to that, I don't know if this is the place to put it, but on the Florida Trail, I'm on the maintenance, and I've been working all around the state. And one of the problems I've seen, and this is true with the commercial world, is transporting seeds between sites if you don't clean your machines. So we have a really bad problem on the trails with Caesar weed, which Gordon is aware of. And I've seen where we almost transported it, and we probably have transported it on our trailers and our machines. And I've really gotten on everyone in our chapter about cleaning the machines prior to leaving the site. And I think there has to be to control the exotic species moving site to site. It's just like removing hydrilla from your props before you go into the next lake.
Yeah,
That's a huge problem. That's why you see exotic species coming up on property as soon as a commercial landscaper goes there. And that becomes a
Yeah,
problem.
it's a big problem. It's so widespread that we had one where we had a conservation area and they were doing removal of nuisance exotic species, but they were using these little sort of off-road vehicles to carry their equipment around, and they weren't washing the wheels. And so, yeah, they were eradicating the ones that they were targeting, but now they have got a whole bunch of other ones that came in on the wheels of their vehicle.
Yeah,
So,
all the machines have to be clean. I mean, like all of our bush mowers that we use out in the forest, we have,
mhm.
we basically have to sweep them and make sure that they're clean. And I almost feel like I want to spray a pre-emergence on the dang things because it's that bad. We're losing trails on the east side because of the Caesar weed issue. And Cogan grass is a prime example. Marion County, it's all over the place because, and you can see it right along the roads because all the commercial lawn mower contracts don't clean the machine. So it's spread throughout Marion County, which is Cogan grass is extremely difficult to get rid of. And and once you got it, it's tough to get rid of. And that's because of people not cleaning the machine. So that's something that probably needs to be addressed. Another, is this the area where there was an issue in the BCC about a month and a half ago where land clearing happened before the commission gave permission? Is this a place that this can be corrected at, or?
yeah, so under the Wetland Ordinance, that's where that can possibly be corrected at.
You want to explain the issue? Because maybe everyone's not aware of that.
Yeah, because EPD had approved, I believe they approved the CAI without it going to the board, because depending on the type of wetlands it is, it depends on the type or the conditions and stuff, they're able to make these decisions without the board.
So even
Yeah, I believe that the reg is that impacts to class 1 wetlands must go to the board. Impacts to class 3 wetlands can be approved at staff level, and I don't remember what 2 is, but I think 2 is also staff level. And
Yeah.
that's Emily, you and I had discussed this briefly today, and that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Now the question of early clearing was one that came up during the BCC meeting regarding the wetland impact, and I think that's a really good point to make. That one of the commissioners, and I don't remember which one, made that point about
District 1.
when is it
It was Nicole.
appropriate?
Nicole made that point.
Yeah, about when is it appropriate to have early site clearing,
Yeah, because
and in what conditions?
and District 1, and what happened was they had not gotten approval to do development, but they went and cleared a good percentage of the land prior to approving of the development. So essentially, it was a chicken and egg situation where they cleared it, so now there was nothing left to even talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to
Well,
talk
that's
about
very
protecting
problematic
something that's gone.
Go ahead,
That's
Gordon.
problematic on a number of ways. It's not only the wetlands, but also like protected species. Because if it was an upland area that they cleared, then there's a high probability or possibility that there was gopher tortoise there. One thing I just want to say about this whole business about wetland ordinances, drainage and things like that is I think that we would be well served if we avoid duplicating state regulations, especially the ones that are already pretty well enforced, like especially the stormwater ones. And the other one that's pretty well enforced is also the gopher tortoise one. So
That,
I think it would be a mistake for the county to try to insert itself in those areas when it's not really necessary.
Well, maybe,
Well, I'm having a problem with the gopher tortoises because they're not, the state doesn't come down and walk the property to confirm that what the developer is saying is true. So there's no.
Well, they
it's not-
oftentimes do. They do. I mean, I meet with them on the regular, but they don't always come. But if it's a larger property, they will come and inspect it.
Gordon, what's the FWC's update in the gopher tortoise stuff? Do you know where they're at with that? Because they're moving something. about-
No, I mean, it's a problem now because they have run out of relocation sites. Or they're very quickly running out of relocation sites. And so the changes that they have made have to do with being able to hold the tortoises for a longer period of time. So that they can find relocation sites. Some of it has to do with relocating the tortoises and where you could relocate them. So I understand why they do it, because if they don't change the rules, then the developers are just going to ignore the rules and just go kill the tortoises.
Was
That's
there,
what's going to happen.
was there any talk about allowing them to cave in the burrows with the animals inside it or not? There was,
No, that was not part of the changes that they're proposing.
okay, well, this gives us,
They're not talking about returning to the entombment, as they call it.
okay, good, because
And they're not talking about bringing back the incidental take permit either.
excellent, good, okay. Yeah, I mean, this gives us actually better ammunition for the Econ project because, I mean, that certainly probably can take some gopher tortoises as a mitigation value, so.
Yes, and I mentioned that before. I've mentioned that to Commissioner Bonilla as well as with the rest of the people the people in that committee, and I believe that I even mentioned that to Beth during our conversation with her.
Okay. All right, so we probably need I guess we could put a survey out and see if people would like to put some time in, creating a group for the wetland ordinance and getting up to speed and being part of the conversation. So I'll talk to Lemuria about maybe putting together a survey. Emily, is that okay?
I think Kelly, you've been putting together the surveys, right?
Okay,
Yes, I did in the past for our work group here.
okay, so Kelly, is it okay if we get together and try to put something together and put it
Yeah.
out? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you
So,
done- are you done
so
with-
one thing that I want to say about that, before we start asking the public what they would like to see in the wetland ordinance, we need to make sure that they are aware of what's already in the wetland ordinance. There's a lot of stuff in the wetland ordinance that the general public is ignorant of, that a lot of people outside of DEP don't even know about. So education needs to be the first step. We can't just go and say, what would you like to see in a wetland ordinance? Because they're going to start saying things that are already in there or are never going to go in there. You know,
Completely agree, Gordon. Yes.
So, I mean, the first part of the wetland ordinance group would be learn what's out there right now. That's step one. So, I mean, I have not read the ordinance myself totally, so.
you can read the ordinance, but I created a pretty good synopsis of it that's on the county's website. That's called the applicant's handbook.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's an online applicant's handbook that goes in a lot of detail about what is a conservation area determination, how do you get a conservation area impact permit, what is mitigation, what is the UMAM. A lot of these things are addressed. What is avoidance and minimization? That's all in the applicant's handbook. So what I would propose is, instead of just saying, what do you want to see, you know, to the public, say, this is what we have. Give them the applicant's handbook and say, how could we improve this? Because there's a lot already done, and Orange County actually, compared to other counties, actually does a really good job. So So it's not like we're starting from zero. We're starting at a point where we have a very well fleshed out wetland ordinance, but it could be improved. It could be streamlined in some ways. That's more in agreement with the state wetland ordinance. You know, in many ways, the state ordinances already govern our county ordinance, because the definition of wetlands is a statewide definition that's mandated by the state. The mitigation assessment methodology is a standardized methodology that's mandated by the state. So we're already in compliance with statewide standards in a lot of ways, and there's probably other ways that we could bring it even more in line with the statewide standards. But that doesn't mean that the county can just stop regulating wetlands. The county does a pretty good job at it, you know, compared to other counties that do almost nothing.
Is that chapter 15 in the Wetland Permit Handbook? Is that the section? It's about 94 pages long.
That document I was telling you about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Applicant's Handbook.
Okay, yeah, it's chapter 15, article.
Gordon, I posted a link in the chat to it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Kelly and I will get together and put out a survey on who wants to join those two groups. There'll be more people to the corridor, and we'll create a new group studying the wetland ordinance. That moves us to the next subject, which is the last subject. Is we're not going to do a breakout tonight because it's so late, in my opinion. Is that okay?
Yeah, well, I wasn't thinking that we should do a breakout today anyway, you know, because of the holidays and everything, just kind of give everyone a break. And
So I guess we're sending out notice for the next meeting, which will be in January.
yeah, so I got a date for January's, January 12th. Does that look good for everyone?
Should be, hopefully.
So Wednesday night?
It should be. I don't see why not.
Emily, unfortunately, I teach a Wednesday night class second semester.
Oh, you do? Okay, well, that's okay. All right. So let's see what we have for January then.
Kelly, how many classes at night?
I just have that one Wednesday night class. It goes till 7:30.
Is everyone for that night that's on the call right now?
What?
Is everyone else on the call right now okay for nights?
I'm okay with all nights except for that.
Yeah, I need nights, actually.
Nights are better. I can't do days.
Okay,
All right, how about January 20? No, I have a BCC meeting. The rest of January is pretty packed for me, but how about January 27?
Good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
they should be okay at this point.
It's a Thursday, Eugene.
Oh, is it Thursday? Oh, wrong month. Yeah.
A lot of birthdays that month, but I'll be there.
Well, it would have been my grandmother's 121st birthday. Okay, well, I guess anything else before I adjourn the meeting? Any other comments?
Well, I hope that next meeting we're able to get into Zoom okay. Even I had issues. It's crazy. So I think it might help if everyone sends me an email with what email they want to use for Zoom, because if you already have a Zoom account and I use that Zoom account email in your invite, it seems like that would make it easier for everyone.
All right, I'll do that.
Emily, should I send? So I took notes. Can I send them to Lemuria where she kind of formalizes these into minutes? Or if not, I mean, if the group could just be a little lenient with my style of taking minutes. I documented what was all said within the agenda. So I don't, if everybody would be lenient, I don't have the time to reformat them to the regular minutes document.
Yeah, just copy and paste that into the drive. So I'm not sure if you already put it in the drive or you didn't.
Yeah, it's in the drive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'll see if Lemuria can format that. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right. Anything else before I adjourn the meeting?
Yeah. I think we're done.
So then
Well,
I'll-
happy holidays, everyone. And again, thank you so much for doing this. It's like I said, I keep saying it's just an amazing experience, and I'm really looking forward to getting some things done in the next year. Also, I'm thinking maybe we should do some smaller projects too, so that we could say, hey, we finished something.
Yeah.
Pretty big subjects here.
Because these are pretty big projects. I think it'll be nice to do some smaller ones that we can get done.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Emily,
Right.
can you stick around for just a minute so I can talk to you about the redistricting stuff real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All right, I'm gonna leave. Happy holidays, everybody.
okay. then I-
Happy holiday, Gordon.
Happy
Thanks
holidays.
for
Okay,
all your work on
Happy
PM.
holidays.
You can call us
Bye.
if you want to- See ya. Bye-bye.